Imagine stepping into a winding path, where every turn seems to lead you deeper into mystery, and every step feels charged with meaning. This is not just a puzzle for the mind or a curious design for the eye. It is a labyrinth, and labyrinths are far more than simple patterns on the ground. They are maps of the soul, guides through the unknown, and ancient tools of transformation. Today, we are going to uncover the hidden power of labyrinths, their symbolism, their role in initiation rituals, and their sacred paths that have captivated humanity for thousands of years. When people think of labyrinths, they often confuse them with mazes. A maze is designed to trick you, to test your ability to find a way out, full of dead ends and choices. But a labyrinth is something completely different. A labyrinth has a northeast single path. You cannot get lost. You cannot take a wrong turn. You simply follow the path, step by step, until you reach the center, and then, when you are ready, you follow it back out again. The simplicity is deceptive, because what seems straightforward in design becomes a powerful metaphor for life itself. We are not here to be confused. We are here to walk a sacred journey, and the labyrinth is a mirror of that path. Labyrinths appear in some of the oldest myths and stories known to humankind. Think of the legendary Labyrinth of Crete, built by the master craftsman Daedalus to imprison the Minotaur. This story, as terrifying as it may seem, was not just about a monster hidden in a maze. It was about the hero's journey northeast. Why? Entering the labyrinth meant stepping into the unknown, facing inner fears, and confronting the shadow self, symbolized by the beast. Only by doing so could Theseus emerge transformed, carrying both victory and new understanding. This is why labyrinths became so tied to initiation rituals. To walk a labyrinth was to prove yourself, not through battle or conquest, but through surrender and inner courage. Across Europe, during the Middle Ages, labyrinths began appearing in cathedrals. The most famous of these is at Chartres Cathedral in France. Imagine a massive circular design laid into the floor of this sacred space, where pilgrims would slowly, deliberately walk the path toward the center. They were not simply moving across stone. They were symbolically walking to Jerusalem, to the heart of divinity, to the very source of creation. For those who could not make the dangerous journey across seas and deserts to the Holy Land, the labyrinth became a substitute pilgrimage. Step by step, turn by turn, worshippers moved closer to God. Every motion was a prayer, every curve a meditation, every arrival at the center a mystical union. But labyrinths were not limited to Europe. In India, intricate labyrinth designs were carved into temples, used in rituals that connected the individual with cosmic order. In Native American traditions, the labyrinth appears as the man in the maze, a powerful symbol of life's journey, filled with twists and lessons, leading eventually to the center, which represents harmony and balance. In Northern Europe, turf labyrinths were cut into the earth, places where people could walk as part of seasonal rites, stepping literally into the land and into the rhythms of the cosmos. No matter where we look, whether in Scandinavia, South America, Africa, or Asia, we find the same pattern emerging. Humanity's fascination with the labyrinth as a sacred path. Washington. Why does this pattern keep returning across cultures and across time? The answer lies in the power of the labyrinth as symbol. Unlike a simple straight road, the labyrinth embodies the complexity of existence. Life does not move from point A to point B in a direct line. Instead, it curves, it doubles back, it surprises us. Yet, like the labyrinth, there is only a northeast path that we are meant to walk, even when we think we are far from the center, even when the journey feels endless. We are still on the way. The labyrinth reassures us. Trust the path, trust the process, because eventually, we will arrive. In initiation rituals, this trust was tested. Ancient mystery schools understood that the labyrinth was more than a design. It was a psychological and spiritual journey. Neophytes, those about to be initiated, were often blindfolded or led in darkness through labyrinthine passages. Each step was meant to strip away the old self, the ego, the illusions. By the time they reached the center, they had symbolically died. The return journey was a rebirth, a step back into the world as a new being. The labyrinth thus became a portal between worlds, death and rebirth, ignorance and knowledge, separation and union. One of the most fascinating aspects of labyrinths is how they engage not just the body, but also the mind and spirit. When you walk a labyrinth slowly, deliberately, your breath changes, your awareness sharpens. You begin to feel a rhythm between your steps and your heartbeat, between your body and the earth beneath you. Many describe it as entering a trance, a meditative state where clarity and insight arise naturally. In this way, the labyrinth functions as an ancient technology of the spirit, guiding people into altered states of consciousness without the need for words, doctrine, or dogma. It is pure experience. Modern psychology has even recognized the power of labyrinth walking. Hospitals and healing centers now include labyrinths in their gardens, where patients and families can find peace, calm, and inner strength. Walking the labyrinth reduces stress, lowers anxiety, and creates space for reflection. What was once seen as esoteric or mystical has proven itself as deeply practical and therapeutic. And yet, beyond the science, there remains that haunting sense of mystery, because every labyrinth is a reminder that we are walking more than just stone or grass. We are walking the path of the soul. Let's return for a moment to the idea of sacred paths. Around the world, pilgrims have walked to holy places: the Camino de Santiago in Spain, the Kuman Akodo in Japan, the trails to sacred mountains in the Andes. Each of these paths transforms those who walk them, but the labyrinth condenses the entire pilgrimage into a single design. You do not have to travel hundreds of miles. You can step into the labyrinth at any moment, and suddenly, you are on a sacred journey. This is why labyrinths continue to be built today. In parks, in schools, in churches, in private gardens. They are invitations to step away from the noise of the world and enter the rhythm of the sacred. And there is something subtle yet profound about the center of the labyrinth. Reaching the middle is not the end of the journey. It is a pause, a place of stillness, of union, but then you must walk back out again. This return is just as important as the arrival, because the wisdom gained in the center is not meant to be hoarded. It must be carried back into the world. The labyrinth teaches us that transformation is not about escaping life, but about engaging with it more fully, carrying the sacred into the ordinary. So, when we talk about labyrinth symbolism, initiation rituals, and sacred paths, we are not speaking of dusty relics from the past. We are speaking of living traditions, patterns that continue to guide us, symbols that still resonate with our deepest human experience. Walking a labyrinth today is no different in essence from walking it 1,000 years ago. The path remains the same. The only thing that changes is the walker, and that walker, whether in medieval France, ancient Crete, or a modern hospital garden, is you. The hidden power of labyrinths is not just in their design, but in their ability to reveal what is hidden within us. They show us that every journey is sacred, that every step has meaning, and that even when the way seems uncertain, we are always moving toward the center, toward the heart, toward the divine. So the next time you see a labyrinth, do not just look at it as a pattern or decoration. Step onto the path, let it guide you, feel the rhythm of the turns, the pull of the center, the peace of the return, because the labyrinth is not just under your feet, it is within your soul. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Share this video with a friend who loves a good mystery. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you won't miss the next story. There's a lot more to uncover, and I'd love to have you along for the journey.